complex ideas made crystal clear. Source Explained, turning reliable sources into explanations you'll actually understand. Let's dive in.
You know, our entire existence, it all boils down to a single, random cosmic accident. But what if that accident never happened? Today we're going to dive into an alternate history of Earth to answer a really simple but profound question.
What if that 6-mile-wide rock, just hurtling through space 66 million years ago, had zipped right past us? Just missed. No cataclysmic impact, no global winter, no mass extinction. What would our planet actually look like today? And maybe more importantly, would any version of us even be around to see it? All right, so let's set the scene for this alternate Earth. And just to be clear, this isn't some fantasy world. This is our planet, but it's been shaped by one huge difference. 66 million years of uninterrupted stability, instead of, catastrophic upheaval. So you see, our timeline is really a story of opportunity born from absolute disaster. That asteroid wiped the slate clean, and it gave mammals, our ancestors, a chance to finally crawl out of the shadows. But in this other timeline, the dinosaur timeline, there's no reset button. The planet's rulers just keep on ruling. It's a pretty stark reminder that we weren't inevitable, not at all. We were just a cosmic accident. So what does this world even look like? Well, try to picture a planet that's just teeming with life, a true planetary wildlife reserve. Dinosaurs are still the biggest, baddest animals on every single continent. Mammals, they're still small, nocturnal, hiding in burrows and trees. The skies are dominated by these giant pterosaur descendants, and the oceans, they belong to massive marine reptiles. It's an Earth that is biologically incredibly rich, but technologically completely silent. Okay, but that brings us to the real kicker, the most critical question of all. With an extra 66 million years to play with, couldn't one of these creatures have developed our kind of intelligence?
The answer, and this might surprise you, based on everything we know about evolution, is probably not. And the reason why reveals something really fundamental about how life actually works.
Here's the thing you have to get about evolution. It doesn't have a destination. It's not trying to get to intelligence. It just picks whatever works best right here, right now. And our kind of big-brained intelligence is incredibly expensive. I mean, our brains burn about 1/4 of our daily calories. It's an evolutionary last resort, something you only evolve when every other, cheaper survival strategy has already failed.
Just think about it from a cost-benefit perspective, right? For the dominant dinosaurs, physical superiority, getting bigger, stronger, more armored, that was the winning move. It was cheap, and it was super effective. Why would you ever evolve a pricey, energy-hungry brain when you can just be bigger than everyone else? But for our ancestors, who had none of that physical power, well, intelligence wasn't some luxury. It was literally the only weapon they had left.
And even if some dinosaur species started to get smarter, they'd run smack into 3 massive biological roadblocks. First, their anatomy. Claws are great for hunting, sure, but they can't make sophisticated tools. Second, the fire bottleneck. You can't build technology without mastering fire, but why would a feathered or scaly animal ever get close to something that could so easily kill it? And third, the way they raise their young. With less time spent as juveniles, there's just less opportunity to pass down complex knowledge, stopping culture from ever really building on itself, generation after generation.
But what if there's a loophole? What if there's one single, plausible, but really precarious path for a different kind of intelligence to emerge?
So, where could this happen? Not with the big, dominant species. No way. It would have to be with the desperate ones. So imagine a species that just can't compete, and they're forced to retreat to the harshest environments on the planet, the freezing cold polar regions, where those massive dinosaurs are way less efficient. In this brutal, icy world, the old rules are completely flipped on their head. Physical strength doesn't matter nearly as much as planning for a long, hard winter. Being huge is actually a liability. Remembering where you buried your food is a lifesaver. It's here, on the margins, that the pressure finally shifts, forcing the evolution of foresight, cooperation, and complex problem-solving. All of a sudden, intelligence isn't a luxury anymore. It's the cheapest, most effective way to survive.
So what do we get? A highly intelligent species? Maybe even self-aware. They do simple tools, sticks and stones, they'd communicate, and they'd plan. But, and this is a huge but, they would hit a ceiling.
Without precision hands or any control of fire, they can't build a technological society. And crucially, if they ever ventured out of their cold little refuge, they'd just get wiped out by the apex predators. Their intelligence would exist, but it would be permanently trapped.
And this right here brings us to the most important distinction in this entire thought experiment. The huge difference between just being smart and actually building a world-changing civilization.
I mean, being intelligent is one thing. We see it all over the animal kingdom. Dolphins, crows, octopuses, they're all incredibly smart. But a technological civilization, that is something else entirely. It's this fragile, delicate system that needs safety from constant threats and a surplus of resources just to get off the ground. And one does not automatically lead to the other.
Our own history was powered by this incredible engine, what we can call the feedback loop of civilization. Right? Better tools create more food, which supports bigger populations with bigger brains, which then invent even better tools. It's this runaway process of compounding growth.
But in the dinosaur world, that engine never even gets a chance to turn over. Any attempt to farm would just be trampled. Any small settlement would basically be a dinner bell for predators. There is simply no safety, no quiet corner of the world for that fragile feedback loop to ignite.
Okay, but let's push this all the way to its final, dramatic conclusion. What if, against all the odds, our intelligent species from the icy north did manage to start a civilization and tried to expand?
Because once a species gets smart enough to plan for the future, it develops a deep need for ownership. And this isn't about greed. It's a fundamental biological strategy to control your resources and guarantee your survival.
And this is where coexistence just becomes impossible. You can't run a farm when a herd of giant herbivores can just wander through and trample it. You can't store food for the winter when apex predators see your grain silo as an all-you-can-eat buffet. A civilization that's trying to scale needs control and predictability, and a world of megafauna is fundamentally uncontrollably chaotic.
And so, our little alternate history reaches its pretty profound and sobering end, because it looks like the dinosaurs might have been doomed no matter what.
You see, there are two ways to end the age of reptiles. One is a giant rock from space, a sudden catastrophic external event. The other is the rise of a mind that can scale its control over the environment. It's a much slower, quieter kind of extinction, driven from within, but it's just as final. In the end, a scaling intelligence and a world of megafauna are simply incompatible.
And that is the ultimate takeaway here. The asteroid's greatest gift wasn't just clearing the way for mammals. It was creating an empty, quiet world. It created the silence that allowed the fragile engine of our civilization to finally ignite and grow, completely uninterrupted. That silence, that was the real miracle.
Which leaves us all with a final and kind of chilling question to chew on. Is mass extinction the price of self-awareness? Maybe for a universe to learn how to think, it first has to learn how to destroy. Definitely something to ponder.